my shore adventure begins. I ran up the beach into the woods, glad to be free and alone. I sat quietly hidden in the bushes. Hearing voices, I moved nearer to catch the words. I could see and hear Silver bullying a sailor to join the pirates. The sailor angrily refused. Silver's answer was to plunge his dagger into the man and leave him lying dead in the forest. I felt faint, and the whole world swam through me in a whirling mist. When I pulled myself together, Silver was wiping his knife on a tuft of grass. I feared for my life if I should be found, so I ran and ran, not caring where. I stopped at the foot of a stony hill. My eye was caught by a movement on the hillside. I could not tell if it was a man or an animal. Here was a new danger I felt I could not face, and I began to run towards the shore. But the creature was fast, and darting from tree to tree, he came closer. I could see now that it was a man, but so wild and strange that I was afraid. As he neared me, he threw himself down and held up his hands, as if begging for mercy. My courage returned, and I spoke to him. "Who are you?" I asked.
"I'm poor Ben Gunn, I am," he answered. "It's 3 years since I spoke to anyone."
I had never seen such a ragged creature. He was dressed in a patchwork of tattered cloth, and his blue eyes looked startling in a face burnt black by the sun. Babbling in a high, squeaky voice, he told me he was rich. Sometimes he spoke sense, and sometimes his words had no meaning. I felt he might be crazy after being alone for so long. He said that he'd been on Captain Flint's pirate ship, and that 3 years before he had come back with some seamen to look for Flint's treasure. When they could not find it, the sailors went off, leaving him alone on the island. When he'd seen our ship, he'd thought that Flint had returned. I told him that Flint was dead, but some of Flint's old shipmates were among our crew. When I spoke of Silver, his face filled with terror. I told him we should have to fight the pirates, and he promised to help us if we would take him back home with us. Our talk was interrupted by gunfire, and we ran towards the sound. Among the trees we came upon a high wooden fence that ran round a cleared space in the forest. I saw the Union Jack flying from a log house in the clearing. I knew that my friends must have left the ship and were defending themselves in the log house. The battle with the pirates had begun. The Hispaniola lay in the inlet with the Jolly Roger at her mast. On the beach, a group of drunken sailors lolled on the sand. I parted from Ben Gunn and climbed the stockade to join my friends in the log house. They were delighted to see me, for they had feared for my safety. Dr. Livesey told me what had happened after I left the ship. The captain had decided that the time had come to fight it out with the pirates. From Flint's treasure chart, he knew about the log house. Dr. Livesey and one of our men had rowed ashore to find it. There was a freshwater spring by the house, and the high fence made it a good place to defend. They had then returned to the Hispaniola to collect the rest of the faithful crew. They had loaded a small boat with food and ammunition and made a dash for the shore. There was a small group of pirates still on board the ship. When they saw what was happening, they had opened fire on the little boat, and it had sunk in shallow water. The squire's party had waded ashore, but lost half the stores and gunpowder. The doctor was sure the pirates would soon give up the fight. He said they would get ill from too much rum, and with disease from their swampy campsite. I told my friends what had happened to me, and of my meeting with Ben Gunn. Dr. Livesey wanted to know all about him, for we clearly needed help. The leaders of our party were at their wits' end. We had little food, and the pirates could soon starve us out. I was worn out at the end of a hard day, and soon fell asleep.